Welcome to The Patty Show. My name is Patty Setiatti, and in this podcast, we'll explore the crossing point of the 3 Ps: passion, pleasure, and positivity, and how they can lead you to your own personal paradise. We'll chat with inspiring guests, share practical tips, and dive into stories that will empower you to live your best life. Let's get the Patty Party started. Domo arigato. Welcome everybody again to The Patty Show. Woo! Yes, thank you, studio audience. Hey man, every day, studio audience just keeps getting better and better. I guess we're getting more money for season 2. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Welcome to episode 10, Positivity, Cultivating Optimism. Yeah, so before we're going to talk about episode 10 today, just want to recap last episode. Last episode, we had episode 9, Pleasure, The Path to Joy with our girl Tay. Tay, we appreciate you. Thanks for coming. We had a fun time talking about everything about pleasure, joy. Yeah, she's a real one. I love her so much. The best. Hope you're watching this. We're going to have you on the show soon. And keep spreading good vibes. And do your thing, because you do a lot of things. I'm not going to lie to you. Thank you again so much, Tay. Shout out to you. So episode 10, Positivity, Cultivating Optimism. Okay, we're exploring the power of positivity and how cultivating optimism can change your life. Yes. And speaking of changing your life, I'm not here alone. Okay. I don't know if you feel the presence, the aura right next to me. The video podcasts are out, on YouTube. So stop playing at Patty Show Podcast. You're going to find us on YouTube. Let's get to 100 subscribers. Stop playing. I think we have 15. We're getting up there. My guest, she is an artistic actor with appearances in various major sporting events, commercials, including the Super Bowl. That's a big sporting event for all my international people, because we have some people from Tunisia, apparently. Shout out Tunisia. Right. And the World Series, baseball, for also my international audience. She always knows how to bring the good vibes. Of course, you can tell with the blue turtleneck over there, wherever she goes. And she brought the game to Squid Games. She's also my fellow Asian sensation. Let's give it up for Sam. Woo, Sam! Arigato. Thank you for coming today. I appreciate it. Arigato. She's actually Japanese, so she could say it, okay? Not me. So Sam, please give me a quick intro of yourself to the audience. Your background, passion, hobbies, how we met. Go crazy. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm born and raised in LA, so I guess that makes me a natural artist and multifaceted person, I guess.
I mean, look at fashion right here. You see the tattoos over here? She's styling. She came in fancy. I was like, okay, girl.
I knew I was going to be on camera.
Oh, okay. I was like,
didn't want to look, not great.
Girl, you always look great. Always look great. So LA and passions, hobbies?
I mean, I just love anything creative. Like, I'm primarily an actor. I also am a videographer. I do music videos. I'm a creative director of a band called Damage.
Yes, that band, crazy. We're going to talk more about that, because that aesthetic is insane.
Okay, sweet. So I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, so how did you start that whole band, like that vibe?
I mean, honestly, I kind of fell into music randomly.
Okay.
I've always done video stuff. I always have done like photo shoots. And when I came back to LA, because I took a break from LA for a little bit during the pandemic, as I feel like everybody did.
Everyone needs a break from LA.
yeah.
From everything. Where'd you go after?
I was in Reno, Nevada.
That's so random.
Very random, but I liked it. It was weird.
More peaceful?
It was peaceful, and honestly, like, the cowboy desert thing was very inspirational for me. I don't know. I've written a lot of crap about that with that setting.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
You find inspiration from wherever you go. I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Exactly.
Awesome. So you found the band over there?
No,
I'm like, damn, we got a country band now.
No. So I came back to LA. I was just looking for a video gig. I ran into one of my old homies. He was working at a music night called Dirty Mondays. And so I was working there, just like doing the event and stuff. And then Damage played there. And I forget how we kind of connected, other than I was just doing video stuff for the event. And then, I don't know, we just started working together. And then now it's been like almost 2 years. And they're a vibe. I love their music,
How would you describe it for someone that doesn't know them, and you can plug them too in there? What would be their genre, honestly?
I would say punk, hardcore punk.
Rock. So, yeah. From an outsider, I've only listened to a couple songs. Punk with Patty. I'm real. I don't usually listen. I usually listen to like R&B, maybe some
really?
country. Yeah, I don't get. Everyone always thinks that. Country sometimes, a little country.
Okay,
so punk sometimes. I used to listen to like All American Rejects.
Okay.
Like that. What is that genre? Punk rock.
Punk pop. That's pop punk.
There, pop punk.
Yeah,
another
pop
P.
punk.
P. A lot of P's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to listen to that. Obviously like Fall Out Boy. Yeah, Green Day. But All American Rejects was my woo. Me and my cousin, she was in there too.
Era.
Oh man, that was fun. Like Dirty Little Secret. Oh, that's my song. I can't give my dirty. I'm not a singer. That's the thing that I'm trying to get better at.
That's so, I can't sing.
Yeah, no, singing is too hard for me. Yeah, no. But that's so cool that you have the little band thing. Beyond that, any other like hobbies or passions that you?
I mean,
because you do a lot. Yes,
I write as well. That one is more. I'm in the process of doing a proof of concept for one of my scripts.
Oh yes, I did see something about that. Tell me more about that. Come on now.
Okay, so I have 2 feature scripts done. They're in festivals right now.
Oh, let's go!
Yeah, so one of them is like kind of like a Yakuza movie. So that's the one where I'm like, okay, I can kind of do a proof of concept for that. Mm-hmm. I'm just in the process of trying to figure out like what scene and how to do it with no money.
Yo, facts. Yo, someone fund or GoFundMe. Let's make a GoFundMe for everybody. Like, give me that money.
No, I mean, like, because the proof of concept is basically like, hey, doesn't this look cool? Wouldn't you want to give us money to make it look really, really cool? So
walk me through that as a proof of concept. So it's basically like a pitch or something.
Yeah,
something along those lines.
Before, you could just have like a really great script and kind of like a pitch deck, right? Yeah. A pitch deck is like all the photos and of what you want the movie to look like. Mm-hmm. Now, because there's so much content, so many creators, it's like a proof of concept is a way to either film a scene or like a chunk of the movie to be like, don't you want to see more? Like, doesn't it look good?
To tease them a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You want.
And get funding.
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense. It's like, you want more. You got to entice them.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. I don't know why every time I think of pitch deck, this is the Asian to me. I was like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or like Pokemon? I was like, we played card games?
No, I know. I always think the same thing, that it feels like a real deck.
Yeah, I'm like, a pitch deck. Like, homies, like with my deck of cards right over here. Exactly. The kind of thing. No, that's so cool because I saw you post it like, I think a month ago, something like that. So I'm rooting for you. That's gonna be fun. Hey. Everyone, check it out. What's your Instagram for everyone?
It's
by the way?
at Sam Aotaki.
Can you spell that last part because we know, not everybody. I'm gonna be real with you. I didn't know either, guys, and I'm Asian.
Okay. It's okay. It's SAMAOTAKI_.
Okay, Sam AOTAKI_. See, right?
Yes, exactly.
Arigato, everybody. Exactly. You know how it is. And of course, our Instagram is at Patty Show Podcast, PATTYSHOWPODCAST. Also on TikTok and YouTube. I'm getting good at it now. Before it took me forever. Now I just memorized it.
So good. That's
how. Thank you. This girl, man. We'll talk about the flower sections in a bit. But shout out to her. How did we meet though? Like, Okay,
so yes, we met.
Give me your perspective.
We met during the Squid Games immersive experience. And my perspective, what was it? I don't remember exactly, but basically we were already in production. We'd already been working for like a month and a half or so.
I think you had started like November, December, something like that.
I came in December.
Yeah, because I came like a month, mid-January or something like that. Because I just moved last year to LA, end of November, I think.
Okay.
Or December, yeah. So I'm looking for jobs and plopped in there.
No, January. It was good. And I remember like I saw you a few times and I was like, an Asian.
Honestly, I thought the same thing too, because for context, y'all know Squid Games. If you don't know Squid Games, it's like that Netflix show. It's Korean, Asian. We love our Asian brothers and sisters,
yes,
all of them.
Do.
I expect, like, for me on my side of things too, I'm like, oh, Squid Games, it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna get a new job, make some money. I'm like, hopefully I get it because I'm Asian. Maybe that's on my favor. Mm-hmm. Get the job. I'm excited. I expect like a lot of Koreans gonna be there. Maybe like some Chinese people. Go in. I'm like, oh, okay. See, there's black guys a manager. I'm like, okay, cool. Diversity. Yeah. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Oh, white guy's also a manager. Oh, sweet. Okay, another coworker, Hispanic. Oh, that's cool too. That's cool. And I'm like, damn. Where are my brothers and sisters? I'm like, what in the world? I'm like, am I in Squid Games or in something else? I was so confused because I think, we were like the only Asians. I think who else was there? I was like,
no, we were the only ones, right?
I'm pretty sure. Oh, Jamil's half.
Oh, okay.
Half Filipino, half black, but he looked more black.
Yeah.
To be honest, he looked more black. I love you're gonna be on the show too, bro. Jamil. I miss you, bro.
When he said he was Filipino, I was like, what?
Yeah. He's
and
like
then
that.
We went to go out
skin.
to eat, and I was like, okay.
Okay, it makes sense. He passed the card. He got the yellow card. He did. He passed the card. But yeah, it was like I was like, this is so funny.
No, and I remember I was like, okay, I don't want to like come off too excited because I don't want to freak this kid out. You know
I appreciate
it. Like I don't want to be like, you know what I mean?
We're a rare breed, like a rare Pokemon.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, let me just breathe or whatever. And then they stuck us both doing marbles.
Oh my god!
No, I wasn't even in the show for that one thing.
I remember exactly, but that was like one of the best days because it was. That's when we connected. Like honestly, that was so. Because I also didn't want to assume too, because like especially nowadays, you can never tell if someone's like Asian or Hispanic or and it's like I didn't want to be like, hey. I guess you're Asian. Yeah. I could sense the aura, you know. But it was a fun time. This is my flowers to you because the second we connected, it was just like, like I knew you for a minute. Like it was like literally like sibling stuff. And I was like, oh, this is respect. And like shout out to her too. She's the one that guided me through this. Because I asked you about the different agencies, like who should I apply for, blah blah blah, and you're like, sign for my agency and blah, blah, blah. So I respect a little biased, but I respect it, giving me as much info as I can because like I was still a baby to the whole LA stuff, so I didn't really know about like agency stuff and like all this, all the business side of acting, entertaining. So like I appreciate that you gave me all that advice and just like rooting me on. And then also for this podcast, she would DM the podcast Instagram and like always showing all the support, all the positivity. That's why you're here for this episode.
I mean, you gotta support other artists in this town, especially like the agency stuff too, because I think it's easy to be like overwhelmed, and I think because it is something that like no one really talks about if you're not in it. It's for some reason.
It's like a club. It's kind of
it's a weird club that like it's good to like just be like, okay, this is normal, this is not normal, and like figure that out.
I know it's weird. It's like those country clubs. How do you get into the country club?
Yeah.
Like you see Jeffrey's in the country club for 50 years. I'm like, bro, what did you do? Like, it's because his dad was a slave. I mean, honestly, never mind. Forget about Jeffrey. But that's how we met. Thanks again for showing up today. I appreciate you.
Yes.
It has been like 9 months, maybe.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, and in March, but it's like we just had the show yesterday. So
isn't that crazy? It's almost been a year since we met.
It's actually crazy. Now when I think about it, like I can't believe how much like time has passed. It's gonna be the new year too. Holiday season's here. Like, oh my goodness, I can't. Woof. It's a lot to unpack, but I'm grateful you're here. I'm excited for our the Patty Show episode 10. You're on episode 10. Look at that. We made it to episode 10, y'all. Had to
double digits.
There we go, double digits. Arigato, everybody. All that stuff. Now I can finally say it a million times. I explained it a million times.
To the studio audience.
There you go. I love our studio audience. They're the best. Little tangent about the Japanese though. It's funny. I got a new client at LA Fitness because I'm a personal trainer there. If y'all looking for a personal trainer, stop playing. Patty Setiati Fitness on Instagram. I just put all the plugs in there.
You sure?
You know what I'm saying? So this guy's like straight from Japan. Like homie's like from Yokohama, somewhere over there. And bro, it's just funny because I'm like, I love saying like arigato, sensei. I love all that like terminology, all that stuff. I'm like such a geek when I watch anime and all that. So I'm like, chopping it up with him, having a fun time. I'm like, oh, thank you, sensei. He's like, sensei? No, you're my sensei. I was like, I'm your sensei? I was like, you don't understand. That was like the greatest compliment in my life. I've had a lot of compliments, but that's like top tier. A Japanese man call me sensei?
I mean, it's true in that situation.
You're right, but I still have that imposter syndrome a little bit because I feel like I'm still like that little chubby, cute little boy from Up because that's how I used to look like. I know.
Really?
Yeah, you got to see on my Instagram page on the Patty Setiati Fitness. I have a picture of it on there. I'm sorry, it's crazy.
I need to see.
I know, it's crazy. It's a crazy one. Y'all should check it out. It's I literally look like him exactly. And I have like I used to be a Boy Scout when I was in Indonesia. So like, look just like him. It was crazy. But so sometimes I still feel that like in my head, like, man, I don't deserve this, whatever. But then like, this Japanese legend guy called me a sensei. I'll take it. I'll take it. It was a good day. It was at 5:30 in the morning. It's okay. Cracking on, but I felt good. All about that positivity. But it just reminded me of that because all the Japanese energy. So that was my little tangent about positivity.
Oh, I love that.
Oh man. All right. So our first talking point today, positivity. Mindful positivity. Yes, mindful positivity. We're going to discuss the importance of mindfulness and how it cultivates positivity. So my first question for this talking point is, how can mindfulness help us cultivate positivity? And before we start with that, how would you describe mindfulness in your kind of way?
I think mindfulness is being aware of yourself and you within your surroundings, and also your surroundings, obviously. I guess it's just it's like when people say someone is mindless, we know exactly what that is. They're not aware of anything going on outside of them, or they're not even aware of like their literal like physicality or physical space, or they're not aware of how they're affecting other people, right? So mindfulness is like the opposite of that. Is you're just taking everything into consideration.
You're kind of in tune with everything. I think of like in like New York City, when people are like mindless, just walking around and you just bump into so many people. That's what I think about the mindless. Like they're just automatic. And I'm not gonna lie, I've done that a lot of times because
we all have.
We're busy people. But I feel like it's so bad when it comes to like living, our best lives. Because when you're disconnected, it's just not the same. You don't have that same positivity. So kind of going back to the question, thanks for defining the mindfulness in your way. How can mindfulness help us cultivate the positivity? How does that intersect and how does it blend together?
So I'm a big believer that like kind of like living in heaven or living in hell is...
Talk to me more. I'm curious.
Okay.
Let's go.
I believe that heaven and hell are states of consciousness. Okay. Because, we hear it so many times, like some people will be like, oh my God, my life is a living hell, or, all these things. Yes. And you look at their lives, and not saying that it's their fault because things can happen, you know what I mean? And life is like that. But if you are going into the world already seeing it as a hell, you're going to notice certain things more than other things. What is it called? I forget what the exact term is, but like our brain naturally does it because like we're already taking in so much
I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Like when you're like, don't think of the color red. You think of the color red, right? What is that called? Is it in psychology?
Yeah. I
forgot the term of it, but it's that.
Or like confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias. Look, we're learning something new. I haven't been in college in a while, so talk a little bit more about confirmation bias, please.
Like our brains need some sort of like stability, right? So if I go out into the world and I assume that people are going to be kind to me that day, I'm more likely to hook onto and realize the moments of kindness than if I walk out into the world and I'm like, oh, like the world sucks. My brain is going to naturally be like, okay, how can we confirm this? You know what I mean?
So instead of like pushing away from it, your brain is actively looking like, okay, oh, how can I look at all the negative stuff? Like there's a crack. Oh, now I'm going to think, crack on my mom's back, or something negative just pops out of nowhere. Yeah.
Like there could be a crack on the sidewalk. And like, if you're already in a negative mindset, you're going to be like, oh, like LA doesn't spend any money.
Yeah. Something. Yeah.
Pardon my French. LA doesn't spend any money. Like, whatever, my tax dollars are going in town and all these things, but like if they're
tax dollars are crazy. That's true. That's why y'all better vote. This happened on election day. Stop playing.
I know. Right?
Y'all better vote.
But like, if you're having like a good day and you see the crack, you're like, oh, isn't it crazy that like a flower can grow through sidewalks?
What's crazy? I never even thought about that. Honestly, you're very funny. That's why we got her on the show, guys. Pulling up all the stops in season 2. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So like that mindset shift really does give a lot of power, because then now you're thinking of the flower now instead of the taxes.
Yeah.
What's better, taxes or flowers? Which one do you want to think about?
Yeah, and like I don't know. For me, it's very important because I used to be very like I've had a lot of mental health issues, drug issues, like things like that, and so like I really had to like work on like being positive and cultivating that. And I feel like it really did like spread out and change my life.
I'm glad. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, no, because mindset, I'm telling you, it's the one thing like our mind can really go into dark places or really good places like you were saying, heaven or hell. I never even thought of it that way. Like people are like, yeah, I'm living in hell or heaven or whatever, heaven on earth kind of thing. Not super spiritual, my parents are like religious on that stuff. Got my cross here just to make sure, See, Mom, I love you. It's decoration. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm kidding. But the heaven and hell, that's such a good analogy, because like even if you're not like spiritual or whatever, having the idea that you can kind of have that switch of like,
oh, I'm gonna have a good day. If obviously like a lot of stuff happens, like
no, a lot of stuff.
If like your car breaks down, objectively it's bad.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But then you can be like, think of the other stuff where it's like, oh, maybe I can get some extra steps in, and then you know, like it's obviously it's harder. Don't get me wrong, because my car has been broken down before.
No, but there's moments where like there's a story about like this woman who was late to work on the day of 9/11, and she was late to work because she poured coffee all over, or like someone bumped into her on the subway and she poured coffee on herself, and she was like, oh, I have to go home and change my shirt and all these things, and literally because she was late, like she just like avoided that situation. Not saying that like she was chosen by God and that's why. Yeah. But like, I don't know. Sometimes I do think, or I like to think that like if my car breaks down, like, okay, that sucks. That really sucks. You know, at least maybe my car didn't break down in the middle of the road, or okay, like maybe it broke down now, but maybe I avoided some sort of accident in the future, or, you know, at least it broke down to where it's like fixable and not like, oh, I have to get like a new car right now. Yeah, no. You know? No, that's true. That
9/11 story, I remember seeing like a lot of stuff like that. A lot of people were like coming out like, oh yeah, I overslept. You know, like it's the little things where it's like timing is everything. Like you never know what it could lead to and what it could not lead to. So that's crazy. Yeah, the mindset. Wow, that's crazy. I'm just thinking about. I'm like, wow, what would happen if I was 1 minute late to Squid Games? We would lose the game. That game was crazy at the end too. The was the I was gonna say the staff. I guess the staff game. That one was a funny one. We had like a little game at the end.
It was fun.
Oh man, everyone was a little crazy.
But even like in the Squid Games was a good example. Like some people were like really hating the whole experience. Some people loved it. I mean, I had pretty a neutral experience. There were some days where I was like, oh, like doing the same thing over and over again. Because
it is work, you know.
It is work and it is repetitive. But I was like, I get to act for a living right now. And like a year ago, that wasn't even on the radar. I was like, just like praying to be able to do that. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
There's a blessing in disguise.
Yes, everything is a blessing in disguise.
I know. I feel like that too. And there's also another flower segment. Shout out to you. So my friends came and family, you know, to the Squid Game trials. And she was also there hosting it when they having a fun time. Everyone loved you. Everyone's always asking about you. They're like, where's our sensei? And I'm like, oh, she's killing it. Y'all can see she's in all those commercials, doing all her thing over there. My inspiration over there. So shout out to you. That was a fun time. They generally had a fun time because they were goofballs. I think it was a lot of them. It was like 25.
It was like your whole group.
Yeah, and then like a couple of random people, but like two of my homies from back home, my brother, his girlfriend, and a lot of like other friends. But that was
a good one.
It was a fun time. That whole experience, like, I don't even know how to describe it to someone that hasn't like experienced it, but it's kind of like escape room, maybe. Like, how would you explain that to people that don't really know? Because every time I explain to people, they're like, "This guy's crazy."
It's like playing like life-size versions of childhood games with someone yelling at you. Essentially.
And then also the games don't work. But that's the tea. That's you know how many times? Oh my God.
Warships. That was so hard for me during warships when it would like, because I have a light sensitivity, so I would have to like turn for the wall.
God. I didn't even know that. Like... Oh my goodness. Well, we should have got a raise then, girl. Especially my girl Sam. No, Warship is basically like battleships. We talk about it in Tay's episode, but it's like battleships.
It's Battleship, yeah.
It's Battleship, yeah. That board game thing.
But for copyright reasons.
Yeah, copyright to call it Warships because they didn't have enough money for that. But that one would never work. It would flash so many times. But it was fun though when it was working because it's so hyped. Because how it worked is like there's a split wall in between, two different sides. Whichever team wins, whatever, just start hyping it up and. It's a fun game, honestly, when it works.
Yeah, that was fun.
That one's a fun one, and then there's I'm trying to think what other's my favorite one. I kind of like the marble game a little bit. Mm-hmm. It was kind of fun.
I practiced so much during that.
Oh yeah, the flick of like the thumb. Yeah. What was your technique?
I would like ricochet it off of the side of the
ricochet thing. Some people were so stubborn. Yeah, the marble game. Also, if y'all don't know, it's basically like a shape. It could be a circle, triangle. What was it? Umbrella.
Star.
Square.
Triangle.
I think so.
You said triangle. Right?
I don't know. I haven't been in kindergarten in a while, so I forgot the shapes. I
know, right? Right?
I felt like a kid doing that. It's pretty cool. But in the show, because they had the tin cans, This is how we trick the people, right?
It was for cookies.
Yeah, it was for that cookie, the Dalgona or whatever, where you had to like pick it. So obviously the umbrella would be the hardest. But for the marbles, obviously the umbrella is the easiest because the bigger surface area you have, that's where your marble can go in and you can collect the points kind of thing. So that game was, honestly, that was a pretty fun one because you could actually like, it wouldn't really break because...
No, it would never break. And it was so funny. I once had this group that they were straight up, like I kept telling them, like, because none of them were making it in. And I was like, you can ricochet it off to the side. And they're like, no, we don't play it like that.
Oh my God.
I was like, yeah, go on.
Go on, sis.
But then also there were so many people that were like, oh, do we get cookies? And I'm like, do you think that you paid enough to get fed right now?
Yo, tell me. Oh my goodness.
The egg game I thought was
the egg game was hilarious.
I thought it was so funny.
Yeah, that's like the last one. It's like what is it even called? I don't even know the name of it.
It was a spoon and an egg.
Egg and spoon?
Egg and spoon.
That's what we call it, egg and spoon. So basically you have a spoon and an egg and you just have to knock the egg out of your opponent and you can do anything basically.
It was so funny. There were so many people like, I don't want to knock the egg out. It's mean.
I know. I think also it's funny seeing it day to day because there's so many people with different personalities. There's people that like, they're so passive. They're just there to root on their friends that are passionate about it, that are fans. There's some people that are hardcore fans, like, brother, you paid $100 for VIP. It ain't that serious.
I know,
like,
I know.
He wants me to, like, suck his toes. Like,
there was the one guy that got so mad because this 13-year-old girl won against him, fair and square, too. And he was like, she was 13. Like, I deserve a rematch.
I think I heard about that.
You just lost. Like, it's okay.
It was ridiculous. So I'm like, but it like any type of like service industry or being in front of like people customer facing, you learn a lot and you grow a lot from it and you try to be positive, like she was saying, manifestation, all the good vibes. That's that whole experience was fun. I wish we could go back I wish there was like clips of it back. You know,
I know, because it was just fun to. Like, I don't know, no one actually stressed me out.
Yeah.
Like, maybe in the moment, sure, there are people that were frustrating, but, like, it's just people.
Yeah.
You know, people are just people.
We've dealt with worse.
Yeah,
you know
like,
it was,
if no one's, like, physically assaulting you, like, it's fine.
I don't think that's happened, right? Nobody?
No.
Can't remember. But if it is, it'll be on the Patreon.
Jamal got kissed by that girl.
Oh, I didn't know that happened. That's crazy. Really?
By an influencer, and... That wasn't great. I think Hayden got touched.
There we go. This is Australianness. Shout out to him too. He's gonna be on. He's killing it though. I saw he's like in the Hallmark thing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, the reality show, whatever. I was like, my boy.
Is he really? That's
yeah. This holiday game where it's like they're trying to find the Mr. Christmas or whatever. I'm like, bro, that fits for him perfectly.
That's great.
Because it was like a puppy shelter too. I'm like, that's my boy Cody's down there.
That's awesome.
He's leaving, but it's always nice to see everyone. That's what I love about Instagram. You can see everyone doing their own thing, and
I love how people are just like killing it out there. Honestly, like I love to see that.
I know it's the best when you have like supporters and you can just like feel it, and it's like a good energy. Because I feel like there's not enough of that, especially in this industry like Hollywood. It's a lot of fake people. You know,
which always doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, don't we all want to be winning? Like that's the thing about going back to positivity too. I think it's like. If you are around other people that are becoming successful, that also means that you are successful because because winners aren't going to hang out with losers. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know why it's weird to like support your friends.
Exactly. Especially is your friends that you know are gonna be on the come up because they're grinding just like you.
Yeah, and not just doing that so you can like hang on their coattails or anything. Exactly. Just like genuinely is like that's amazing.
Having their winner circle. Yeah,
like, I want to be in that energy.
Exactly. That's the thing. I think energy people don't even they think about it because it's like some mumbo jumbo whatever. But I believe in a lot where it's like you are who you hang around with. My mom has always told me that. Like from the beginning, you know how it is. I'm like, girl. Now I'm understanding. I'm like, she's so right because people can like feed on your energy or they can take it away so easily. You know, like you can have the brightest light or whatever, but if you have 10 people around you that are so negative, I'm sorry, it's gonna die.
Oh yeah,
and it sucks because you're like, I could have controlled this a little bit if you thought about it, but it's also hard because in the moment you're like, oh, these are my friends. Or they were your friends because that's a whole other thing where people like move out of their like hometown and then they're like, oh, you're acting different. But like, bro, what you mean? I'm just trying to be successful. Why are you, negative? So it's hard finding that like winner circle, so to speak. But I'm glad I met you, girl, because Squid Games is such a random job. I don't even know how I found that job. I found it on LinkedIn. So it's like.
That's how you found it? So random?
The random thing. And then Angel like interviewed me on Zoom and I was like, hey man, looking for a job. I was like, he gave me the job on the spot. I was like, hey, Les.
I love
ain't
that.
no playing. So
I love that. That's
I'm super grateful. Met a lot of great people there. Definitely get a lot more people on the podcast. So that was a positive thing in my life personally.
Hell yeah.
And continue on positivity and like mindfulness. Another question I have for you about that is, what are some mindfulness practices that can increase positivity? We kind of talked about it a little bit, but like for you personally, what are some things like the audience can do? Damn, you heard that crack? I'm like, man, I feel old already. And don't crack your shoulders. But what are some like mindfulness practices that the audience can like implement in their lives, whatever that may be?
Mindfulness practices. I mean, meditation is important, but I think like not meditation. Like I'm just gonna sit here and not have any thoughts. You know, like,
she exposed a lot of influencers out there.
No, you can't not have thoughts. Like I'm sorry, like you can't. But you can pay attention to where your mind goes naturally. And I don't think, too, you have to just sit there. Like, I think, like, working out is a type of meditation, walking, dancing, whatever it is. But I think that's a good way to start is, like, where does your mind just naturally go? Or even when you are in a group of people or waiting in line, instead of going to your phone, like, where does your mind go? Does your mind go to, like, oh, it's a nice day today? Or, like, no. Or does it go to, like, to wait in line, you know? And I think just like paying attention to, are you someone that veers more negative or veers more positive? Or even after having a conversation with someone, like taking a moment afterwards to be like, did we just like sit there and like talk shit about people?
Mm-hmm.
Or did we sit there and like talk about what were the successes of our friends?
Yeah, something productive.
I mean? Yeah, and just becoming just mindful, but also not trying to change it either, or not trying to like.
Interesting. Okay.
Just be like, okay, like almost like treat yourself like a science experiment.
Oh,
you know?
So just being there, just to kind of be there, be present, be like, all right, I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling this way, and then maybe analyze it, maybe not, because then it comes to like overthinking. For me personally, I overthink a lot, so I'm like, sometimes I'm trying to get good on the meditation now. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about something, and then it wanders to one thing, and I'm like, I'm thinking about this. Why? And then the mind starts racing, and I'm like, God damn, this is a little too much. So how do you like balance that then, I guess, to stay as present as you can? Because I know obviously we're humans. Not all the time we can, stay present, but any tips for that in that scenario?
Because I feel you, like I overthink too, and I think it's like if I have a recurring thought, that's when I'm like, okay, like what's really going on? Like,
what you got to really unpack it, kind of, right? Yeah, can't hide it.
And then also too, I catch myself overthinking, and I get on myself about overthinking if it takes me out of the moment, especially with other people. Like if I'm hanging out with someone and suddenly I'm overthinking about something, I'm like, wow, that's like now I'm just thinking about myself while this person's trying to communicate with me. Like what is that?
What is this?
Yeah, and it's like, then you can again like self-analyze to a point, because there has to be a level of just like, all right, I'm just human. Like you're not going to find the seed of everything.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. Like for me personally, I always get nervous and always overthink before this show. I don't know why. I just get so every time, any type of thing, like the stuff that I love doing, I get so nervous for some reason. Like, but
what do you mean? Because you care.
There we go. Thank you for reading my mind. Because I'm telling you, I was like,
it's not a bad thing.
But it sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like pacing. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, oh my God. It's so weird though, because like even people that I'm like close with and type of like, I was literally talking to my cousins last time, and I'm like, I'm so nervous, but I'm like, why am I nervous? But like you were saying, I think it is because of it's the care, and I might care a lot, maybe too much. I don't know, figuring it out. But it's a blessing. Because during it, I feel like I'm in the flow. I feel fun, and after I just feel that like, in Indonesian, there's a lot of IMs, right? In Indonesian, we say like lepaskan means like letting go, and I just feel like the weight just lets go after like the camera starts and like everything goes, and it's just like I'm in the zone. I'm sure you feel the same because like in artists too, where it's like you're shooting a scene or whatever before you might like get the jitters a little bit or something, or doing any type of project, and then when you're doing it, and especially right after, you're just like, oh goodness, great! Like the euphoria is crazy.
Yeah, like honestly, I almost see it like a muscle. You know what I mean? It's like like, especially because you work out, like I think about it like auditions, right? Like at this point, because I've done so many commercial auditions, for example.
She got a lot of experience. I'm telling you. When did you start doing the commercial auditions, by the way?
Well, I mean, I started acting when I was like 13, so
There
I've
we
been
go.
doing it for a while, and then I took a long break, and then now it's been about like 2 years doing it very consistently. And I think that's the thing. It's like doing it so consistently. I'm like, yeah, of course, sometimes I get nervous, but I'm like, I know how this works. I can only do so much that I can do,
Yeah.
you know? And like, if I book it, awesome. If I don't, like, it's not because of me. Like, it's just like,
it's not the fit, yeah, whatever.
yeah, it's fine. Like, they're selling a product. If there's a client, there's all these things, you know what I mean? And like, with theatrical stuff, because like I haven't had as much experience doing that, there is like that like like, oh my god, I need to do whatever.
It's that muscle, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a muscle. It's like the first time that you do squats.
It's true.
The first time you do squats with like a barbell, it's like, oh my god, I'm gonna break my back. I'm gonna break my back. My spine is going to stop right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then after a while, you're like, okay, like I know how this feels. Like if the bar's in like a weird spot, like I'll feel it. You know what I mean? But you get just more comfortable with it, and then you can add weight, and you get more comfortable with it, and like all these things.
And you get stronger and stronger. She's a strong one right here. She did the 75 hard. What, 75 hard? Is it
hard 75?
Hard. Same thing. It's like, what do you read a book every day?
It's reading 10 pages a day, workout twice a day, 45 minutes each.
Goodness. Okay.
No cheat meals, no alcohol. I think that's it.
That's the main ones.
And you take a selfie of yourself just to track progress.
Oh, track. Yeah. What day are you on right now?
Like I'm like 63.
Goodness gracious. I saw her post it. I'm like, you gotta go, because I can't do that one. That's just I think I don't know if I've done like a hard one, because the book one, I tried to I have a book near my bed, but sometimes I don't read it because I get too tired. So that's okay though. But maybe I'll try read, because I feel like reading is such a good thing too. It like kind of opens your mind again, and it's peaceful, because also all the screen time, it's like, oh my god, it's so much, like the computers, the phones, and everything like that. So it's kind of nice to just go for a walk and have time for yourself and meditate. And be mindful. See, be mindful and be positive. See, that's what we're talking about over here. Thanks for sharing for that. Okay, so our second talking points, gratitude, also goes along with positivity. The power of gratitude. My first question is, what are some benefits of practicing gratitude? What are some benefits of practicing gratitude? What do you think?
Sounds like a Jeopardy question.
I know, for real. Yeah, for real.
I think it makes you actually enjoy life. You know, like, again, like life is a gift. And I feel like it doesn't really hit you until something gets really taken away, or someone else's like actual life, especially something that you love, like gets taken away or something. And so many of us are just not present in the world, me included, because like phones and Instagram and like we're worrying about all these things, and we have to like work out and eat well, and microplastics are in everything.
Yeah, for real,
And like
we have to look good, but then we gotta feel good because it has to have fiber, has to have this and this. I'm like, bro, there's so many different things.
There's all these things, and I don't know. For me, like, of course, I'm grateful for the big things, but like, I'm one of those, like, I try and be grateful for like the little things, like. Nice weather is a big one for me. Like being able to pay my rent without stressing for it.
That part, yes, that like, people don't realize. Rent is expensive, but when you pay, it's like that. Like that shoulders you like.
So good. You're
like, no, for real. That's one of those things too. Like I love acting and everything, but that's probably top tier too. Like right, you're like, oh.
For real.
Oh my god, I'm like, there's a God somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, no, for real. Because you remember that time when you were like, oh my god, what am I gonna have to do to make this happen?
I know, exactly. And especially like in our field, you know how it is, like jobs are just random. It's like sometimes you make money out of nowhere, and like yeah. And then when it's dead, like after Squid Game, oh my god, I started working at the restaurant job, and I was just like Craigslist like crazy, random stuff. I worked at a country club too. I was just doing everything. I'm like,
yeah, you gotta do.
Give me money. I gotta pay this rent because we back in Connecticut.
No, seriously, like being grateful for those little things, because like especially when life is getting crazy, and especially like in acting, right? Like there's so many times where I'm like, oh, like I still haven't booked a pilot, or like I still haven't like booked a film, or like my life sucks. You know?
Like that too.
Well, I make fun of myself because I'm like, does it really suck? Because you had like a Super Bowl commercial this year that like last year I would have killed for. You know what I mean? So it's just like, no, my life is great. I just have I just have different goals now. That's all it is. You know what I mean?
A comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh, it is. It is.
That, I mean, I've heard that so many times, and now like just living through it, it's so true, and it's so hard to catch yourself because you're like in the moment. I'm like, man, why don't I have a new Benz or whatever? Like, well, at least I have a car. Before I didn't have a car. Like when I was at school, I took the bus all the time. So it's like it's those little things. Like my younger self would be so grateful for everything I have now and more. Like I couldn't even picture the stuff that I have now, and then I'm just complaining about this, that. It's obviously the human nature, and it's hard to catch yourself. But that's why it also helps having a group of people around you that are like also grateful, and then you can catch them when they're feeling that way. Yeah. And that's why I'm grateful I have my brother too. Like we deal with all that stuff because he's also in acting and all that stuff. So it's like when he's also like, man, I got a call back for this for the Netflix thing, but they didn't cast me. I'm like, bro, at least you got the call back. You know, like little stuff like that. It's training you, whatever. And he acknowledges that, but you know, it does suck. No, especially the audition. Oh my God, it's the worst. It sucks, worst
but feeling. It just is like you're getting there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you're being seen. When it's your time, it's your time. You know what I mean? I remember how I had a teacher who always said, like, if you make it before you're ready for it, you'll lose it so fast.
That's good.
It's true. It's true.
If you make it before you're ready?
Yeah.
What was the last part?
Then you'll lose it.
Oh.
And I think it's true. I mean, I think it was the actress from 13 Reasons Why.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
I forget. I think like the lead girl. But I remember like she was obviously ready to like act, but she wasn't ready for the fame. You know, and like what comes with that, and like comments, and like being shame resilient and all these things. You know what I mean? And I think she didn't quit acting, but I think she like stepped away from it.
Yeah, I haven't seen her. I mean, honestly, that's a lot of things. A lot of those like child stars too. They're not ready for it because, you know, imagine a kid that's like starting from young and already has like super stardom. Like it's crazy. A life like imagine like Justin Bieber when he couldn't do anything. Grocery store shopping. Michael Jackson was another one. I forgot where, some podcast or whatever, but they were talking about how like Michael Jackson, I think he rented out a grocery store.
Oh yeah, just so
you heard about that one?
Just so he could go
just so, he could have a regular day shopping at the grocery store. Like I could go to Ralph's, no one's gonna bother me. Like you know what I'm saying? Maybe some crackheads. Like stop being weird, crackheads. I know I look like a samurai sometimes, but like that's another thing too though. When I used to take the bus, oh my God, it was like the best and the worst because people would always just guess. This one guy, he was like right next to me. I'm sitting next to him. He's a black guy. You know, I love my brothers out there. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I'm like, you know, I didn't even say what's up because, you know, I'm not trying to go crazy with it. I've dealt with this before. I'm like,
yeah.
So, let me guess, Samoan?
You do look Samoan, huh?
Thank you. That helps for commercials. I'm like, I always plug it ethnically ambiguous, and I'm like, not quite Indonesian. He's okay. And then he puts his headphones back in. I'm like, that was so random. That's the only thing I miss about the bus sometimes. It's just like funny.
I feel like in general, like, do you get it a lot? Like people are like, what are you?
Oh, 100%. You probably get the same thing too, because it's like, I get it all the time. You're like, you mix with a little something.
Yeah, I don't really care anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. It's just funny because I always love the guesses because I've had like almost every type of guess. Like that's so random. I think randomly, I'm like, this sounds crazy. Someone thought I was light skinned.
Really?
Because I was super tan. Like,
okay.
When I was in Bali, I was like
I could
3 shades darker, like super, super dark. And I think I had braids that time or something. And
you could be Blasian.
Yeah, there you go, like Blasian vibe, something like that. And then I was like, thank you. I was like, yeah, man, you know me, man.
Ethnically ambiguous. Yeah, there you go.
It helps with the commercials, you know. But speaking about those commercials and like the auditions, we were talking about the theatrical auditions. How do you like cope with like the rejections, for example? Any strategies for that? Do you like go for a walk or watch a movie? Is there like a go-to movie? Any strategies or?
I mean, I think that's the thing is like, okay, well, two things. Like no one ever really reaches out and tells you no. So it's kind of like you just hear nothing and you're like, okay, well,
that's the worst feeling.
I don't even don't care. I don't know. I don't think I care anymore because I just don't. I think also being on the other side of it, like casting like my own series and stuff, because like seeing it is interesting because like you do have the character in mind already. You know what I mean? And when you're watching all these actors, like I remember there was one role that I was casting and everyone was great.
Yeah.
Everyone was genuinely great. Just this one guy was like, oh, well, that's the guy.
That's what you envision. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? He didn't do anything different. Then he didn't do better or worse. It was just like, oh, like that's the guy. This other role that we casted, we were not envisioning them at all, but they were so... I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just, I think it was the way that he read the role. We were like, well, we can't go with anyone else. And it was a role where originally it was supposed to be scarier, and this guy kind of did it more comedic. For whatever. And we were like, we like that more. So I think about that when I don't get a role. It's like, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know who they had in mind. Like, it could be that I'm too young. It could be that I'm too old. It could just be that there was someone else that they were just envisioning more. Like, there's really nothing
that you can control, kind of.
Not really, other than just, you got to just do the best that you can. And you can't, like, kind of, something I've learned, like, you can't, like, guess what they're thinking.
Oh, that's good. You can't guess what they're thinking. Yeah.
No, you have no idea, you know, like, you just gotta just do the role how you would do it. And yeah. And
if they like it, they like it. And if not, it's whatever. On to the next.
Well, also too, like I've heard of this happening so many times where like they'll audition like 500 people and people will do screen tests and all these things. And then finally the guy that they actually wanted is suddenly available. And they're like, oh, you know what? We actually are going to go with that. Yeah. So it's like, it's a business. Like,
exactly. That's the biggest thing, because people want it to be like, oh, it's rainbows and butterflies, which, like, you know, some days it's simple, straightforward. But I think perspective is like a good word when you put that out there, because like if you look at it on the other side, like you were saying, there's like 20 different people, or how many amount of people that are auditioning for it. Like everyone literally could do the same exact thing, but Mr. A or whatever was just like, all right, that's our character.
I mean, also and it's also consider like you as an actor, you've maybe been exposed to this project for like 2 days, and everyone working on that, especially the writers, maybe been doing it for 20 years, and like, you know what I mean, have this whole thing in their head. Like, I don't know.
I think it's
unless literally your agent is like, you acted poorly.
Yeah, that's different. Then you gotta take it personally. Then,
but they'll tell you.
They'll tell you.
You know what I mean?
Hopefully, if there's a good agent.
If you don't get a note like that,
that's your problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't help you with that. You
exactly.
It's not perspective. It's personal.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. No, because I feel like, especially this industry, everyone thinks like it's an easy one. Everyone's like, oh, acting, yeah, oh my god. It's not easy, y'all. It's hard. You have to have thick skin, a lot of perspective, and a lot of patience. It's another P. There's so many P's out there.
A lot of patience. You also have to be willing to be vulnerable and seen. I think that's the other thing too. Like, people think it's so easy to just like, and it's like, no, you're like literally being emotional for your job. A lot of like me in real life, like, it's easier for me to kill someone than to cry in front of people.
She said she gonna kill someone? Oh, no! Somebody help me.
No, but you know what I mean.
No. I'm safe for now, please. Please, Sensei, please. Not today. Arigato. The Yakuza stuff is not real.
Yeah, no, it's not real at all.
Maybe not. Part 2 coming soon. It's actually based on a true story. Oh goodness, I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly,
right?
You know,
we don't like women in the Yakuza.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Until the first one. But no, this industry, it's like people think it's just like I don't know, like it's just easy. Everyone's like, oh, anyone can be an actor and entertainer, but there's like so many levels to it. It honestly is like also the good and I guess sometimes bad part, because depending on the person you are, it's so fluid. Like it's never linear. It always like flows around. If you do a 9 to 5, it's literally like it is so linear. Like, all right, I meet a certain quota. All right, I'm gonna become the boss. I'm gonna become this. Actually, you could literally have your breakout role, next year, and what you gonna do? Be on the restaurant? Like you know,
No,
like it literally could happen
seriously.
so quick, so quick. It's
Just because you age a little bit, just because you cut your hair, just because you worked out and now you're buff.
yeah.
You know,
Oh my God, there's
like,
so many little details. It's crazy. They're like, yeah, we wanted someone that was more small. I'm like, bruh. He's like, we saw the picture. That's another thing too with the consistency. That's why I still keep my hair, honestly, because
oh really?
yeah, just gotta keep it consistent. Because when you start, also headshots are expensive. Like, don't get me started.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm keeping this hair. Because I've had my hair long since like college, I think, or something like.
No, just keep
7
it
years.
if you like it.
I like it, but it's also like, you know, all the conditioners, a lot of stuff. You know,
I mean, I don't have hair, so I don't.
you have gray hair though. I miss like the shorter hair, and I was thinking of like a buzz cut thing, but then I look too much like an F boy. You know what I'm saying? And I'll probably look Hispanic more.
Yeah,
they'll be like, "Hola, Patty," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Si, senor." But the consistency, yeah, and yeah, headshots are so expensive. I'm like, it's there's so many different things acting like
There's
people don't
little
talk about
things.
the headshots, the different classes you gotta take, you know,
A lot of classes.
a lot of like networking. Networking is also such a funny word because like you meet a lot of people and sometimes it's just so pretentious. Like
I don't believe in the networking thing. I think just be nice and be chill. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't know.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, if you're really working on set, then you have to be stuck with someone for 12 hours a day for 3 weeks. You're dying slowly. You know what I mean? You have to be in scenes with people. You know, it's like just be a chill person.
yeah, just be as genuine as you can because also like it'll eventually come out. Especially like you said, the amount of time and exposure you're with this person, like they'll see your true colors. If you put up a front in the beginning, it's not gonna end well, you know, because then something's gonna happen and it like you said, we're like it's like a very emotional industry.
It's a very emotional industry.
You're literally putting your emotions out there. So one day your emotions gonna trigger probably in the bad way. So yeah, it's but then also you get to meet a lot of cool people. That's why it's all about like being chill and having a good vibe, just playing marbles. That's like we were doing.
Exactly.
It was so random. We were just like, were we counting marbles or what were we doing?
We were counting marbles.
Yeah. That was a funny time, y'all. We ain't gonna talk about that a lot, but
we had a good time.
We had fun because we were just chilling in the back, and then they finally were like, "Oh, you guys still there? Oh yeah,
you can leave."
I'm like, "Oh, I'm trying to make some extra money."
I know. I know.
Any type of those jobs where you clocked in, you know. Don't look at this, y'all, but you know what we're doing. I put a little extra couple minutes. Use the bathroom real quick. They gonna pull me out of the bathroom?
Like that's when people were like, "Oh, I want to leave early." I'm like, "Why?"
I'm like, I'll take your minutes.
No, that's how I leave.
I was like, you don't want to work? Yo, put me in there.
Yeah.
Get it. They're like extra 30 because 30 minutes make a difference.
It's wild to me when people like don't enjoy the act of making money. That's crazy to me. I love making money.
This is my sister. This is my sister, and I told she Asian. No, I'm telling you, like, bro, like, if I see money go in my account, that's great. Like, that's the best. If
I don't care how little or how big it is. I'm just like, it's the same feeling.
It's positive. It's positive.
Yeah.
It's positive. It's positive money.
Exactly.
That's our manifestation for the next year, 2020. Well, 2025, right?
2025.
Damn, that's crazy. 2025, you know, we're manifest positivity in everyone's bank accounts.
Yes.
Especially ours. Stop playing, you know, manifest that money. Because, oh man, everything's getting more expensive too. Taxes.
Yeah, I want all my friends to be rich.
Of course.
Are you kidding me?
That's another thing too. Like, people think there's not enough money around the world. There's so much money.
There is so much money.
Everybody can have a piece of the pie.
No,
y'all.
literally, like, there's money everywhere. You just gotta look for it.
That's the thing. I think it's also like that's what I love about LA, and being in Squid Games was cool. Seeing everyone was hustling. Like, everyone's working that job, but then everyone had this other job doing this, the commercial, and I'm like, whoa, I can't slack. The days I wanted to sleep in and be a little pleb, Patty the pleb, I'm like, all right, Sam's hustling. I know she's doing something. The devil works hard, but she works harder. Like, I can't even lie. This girl, I'm telling you, when she just put, I'm like, yeah, bro, okay. Nah, I don't know how you do it. It's a lot. Like, it's a lot. How do you balance all of the different things if you find a balance, you know?
No, I balance it because at the end of the day, like, I am more like introverted and I like chilling a lot. And I do think that to be truly creative, like, you cannot be too stressed. Like, I think it's good to like have a fire under your butt and like put in the work. But I think like if you're literally in survival mode constantly, like, it's hard to be creative.
I'm glad you pointed that out. I love that analogy of the fire in the butt because I like it because when I first moved here, I had that because I was like, all right, I need a job and all that stuff. And it helped with like the grit, you know, like the nitty gritty, finding different jobs. but the creative part takes a back seat sometimes because you're on high stress mode. Like you're like, oh, cortisol. I'm like, oh my god, I need rent. Rent is more important than the podcast. That's why I didn't start the podcast until later, because I finally found my footing, and I'm like, now I can put my creative juices without being desperate and making stuff out of inspiration, not desperation. That kind of makes sense. That's one of the books that I'm reading actually in there.
That's a good one.
That's the book that yeah. So it's like, it's just way better because your mindset is so nice, and then the product that comes out is just like genuine. It's like a good vibe. You're not rushing. It's not like I'm putting ads, not yet. So stop playing.
You'd be so good at ads.
You know, stop playing. You know what I'm saying? Put the advertisement, we're gonna get some money soon. But there's no ads on it yet because it's just a passion project for fun. And if it was more like desperation, I'll be like, the second that first episode come out, I'm like, yeah, there's like an ad every 20 seconds. So it's like, I'm glad that I'm more and I was gonna say inspirational, I don't know, mindset, I guess. Yeah. Yes, inspirational mindset than like more desperation, because like it's so different and they take so many different energies.
Well, and it's the same as like going back to auditions, right? Like if you're in the room and you're just like, you need to book me. It's like this like desperate, like,
you see desperation.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not a vibe. Versus like someone that's just like, hey, like, you know, life is good, and like, yeah, you know, I don't know. It's just, it's an energy. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, you'll see it when you notice it, and I feel like the audition is a big thing and casting directors see it all the time.
I know.
I mean, you've cast a lot, but you can kind of feel the vibe. Like, oh, this is gonna be my big break. This is my break, which is like, you know, obviously as humans we have that mindset of like, hey man, if it's paying,
best,
if it's gonna pay me $10K, it's $10K. You know, I'm gonna be locked in.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But like you were saying, when you're just like chill and giving the good vibes, the good energy, you're just like, it comes more naturally, and then you can do your art, do whatever you have to do without the stress, where it's like you're in the zone and not thinking about the paycheck.
Yeah, because if it's too much about the money, then your soul isn't there, you know?
That's a bad P. That's not positive.
Yeah.
Paycheck.
But if you don't think about the money, then your soul will slowly die.
Yes, exactly. So slide us the money, okay? Stop playing. Give us the paycheck. Paycheck to Patty. My PayPal is at Patty Setiani. I forgot what it is. I think I have a PayPal. I gotta set it up.
Yeah.
I do have one. It's my fitness one actually. It's at Patty Setiani Fitness. Stop playing, y'all. If you wanna, you know,
plug
it all. You know, see, this is what I need her. Is my sensei. She teaches me everything I know. You know what I'm saying? But continue on gratitude. How can we further incorporate, you know, gratitude into our daily routine?
I mean, I think waking up and before you go on your phone, just think of one thing you're grateful for, even if it's one thing. Yeah, 3 things, you know, keep a gratitude journal, you know, or just like, again, like be mindful and like have moments of like, you know, just be grateful of like your day or like anything, or especially things that you're passionate about. Like, okay, like for you, how you were saying, like before every podcast, you get all like nervous and and then like, then you're in the flow. Like after each podcast, just like even say a moment out loud of like, I'm grateful that happened, or like, I'm grateful like it worked out or whatever, you know. Like I was even saying that like on the way here, like at first I was like, oh, I'm like so late, like because traffic sucks and all these things. And I'm like, oh, but I'm grateful I'm doing a podcast with Patty because Patty's awesome. You know what I mean? Like,
appreciate you, girl.
You know, like, so, and already that like can shift your energy, you know, instead of like me being here being like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I was so late. And we're talking about how late I was for 20 minutes. Instead it's like, oh yeah, I get to see you.
It really has been a while, y'all. Like, you're right. The shifting and the gratitude, just thinking about the little things in life. Like, I feel like that's the biggest thing, because once the little things you think about, it compounds to the bigger things. I don't know. And you're like, oh, and I got the roof over my head. And you just think about all the good, and just, it feeds your soul and it makes you feel good. And that's what we got to do to live our best lives and find our personal paradise. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of peas in the show, you know? And for our final talking point, actually, positivity in action. My question for you is, what are some examples of positivity in action in your life? And how can we help encourage our viewers about having a life full of positivity and acting on it?
I mean, I love genuinely asking how people are doing. Like, I don't know, like coffee people, like the baristas, like grocery store people, like
the person that checks up on you on the gym or something, like the front desk worker.
Yeah, front desk workers, security guards, people checking IDs. Like, I don't know, I just like genuinely ask, like, how are you doing? Because like, I don't know, like they deal with a lot of people all the time, you know? And like, I like to know. I don't like me personally, like, I don't know, me personally, like I'm really not doing it from a like, I'm gonna do my positive act today.
Respect. That's how I do.
Yeah, you know, like it's like, no, I want to. I've gotten into great conversations with people. Like it's awesome. Like I don't know, and I don't know. It gives me perspective of other people's lives.
It's like the simple question. I was like, hey, how's your day going? I did that. I think yes, when I was voting. You know, y'all better vote. The lady that was helping me with the thing, I was like, oh, how was your day? Was it busy? She's like, yeah. Really busy, but I'm grateful to be here. I'm like, we love this. You know, it's nice to spark the conversation. Obviously, there's some people that you ask that question and they're like, they don't even hear you. But you know, that's their own business, whatever. But when you have a good conversation out of nowhere, it feels like so good. I don't know. It's like you're giving what you're eventually getting without even asking for it. You know?
Yeah.
Because like I feel like when it comes to positivity, it's one thing where some people push it too much and they're like, hi, today, you know, that's, I feel like it's a little pretentious.
No, I think sometimes it can come off like ingenuine, and I think also like reading the room, like definitely don't be like spiritually bypassing, like
spiritually bypassing. I like that.
No, like if your friend is like really going through some hard stuff, like even if they're talking about acting, like, yeah, sometimes you do want to hear, like, yeah, it sucks sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be like, oh, like, just like Nana's house thing, you know what I mean?
I love how she's doing the whole, like,
because I feel like it's very Instagram-y.
Yeah, that's very, like,
I don't know.
I'm a life coach, everybody, yes, you know? Granola, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's like, no, like...
Kombucha, all the health foods, everybody. Namaste, arigato.
Yeah, I'm like, namaste means goodbye.
Yes,
or it means hello. Sorry, it means hello. No, like you can't like spiritually bypass or like. I think you have to have a genuine connection too. Like there are some days where I don't have time to ask how people are doing, and that's okay too.
Yeah, of course.
You know, but I think that's one way to be positive. I think another way is like say hi to animals. You know. Yeah, exactly.
Cody's knocked out. Oh, he's knocked out. Good. Yeah, hi to animals. That's a good one.
Even like birds, like just like.
Oh, I need to start doing that. That's cute. I like that.
Like I don't know. I this is where my Buddhism goes really hard. Like I don't like to kill like insects or anything either. Like if there's flies in my house, I try and have a conversation with them. I'm like, you know, wouldn't it be nice to be outside?
Yeah, you know, you're like, all right, you know, no, we had a spider the other day, and I was like, all right, guys, let's just use a cup and move it, because I feel like I've been more conscious of that. Like, I've been vegetarian for 6 years, I think, something like that. So I'm more like conscious about that stuff. Like spiders, I'm not gonna, like, they're creepy still.
No, they're still creepy, you know? But like, I don't want to get killed for
yeah,
existing.
Exactly. So like, where that, I'm just like, I put it in a cup, even though I'm scared. I'm like, I put it outside, and you know, I just, so then like the consciousness also doesn't, it's not bearing on me, you know, kind of thing. But thanks for sharing with that. I didn't know you were Buddhist, actually. Huh? Yeah. Now we're learning something new today, everybody. Any advice for anyone that's trying to learn about Buddhism? We had someone that was learning about Buddhism actually in the show. He didn't tell me a lot about it, but I studied a little bit because I was an Asian studies minor.
Nice.
Because I'm Asian. Yeah. You know, it was kind of, I'm not gonna lie, this is funny, sorry. So I took Mandarin Chinese because you know, my dad speaks it fluently. I speak more Indonesian fluently. It was, you know, prerequisite for college, whatever, all the, you know, all the core curriculum, all that stuff. And then one of the minors was Asian studies. The requirement was like, learn an Asian language, Asian class, whatever, and then just do a paper. And I'm like, bro, I basically have all of this. I might as well just write the paper and just get the minor. Yeah. So I did it. So I'm like, oh, here we go. I got Asian studies minor. Didn't pay attention in most of the classes, but it's okay.
It's okay.
I got it. Yeah. Okay. But tell me about that Buddhism journey, though. So like, you were born into Buddhism?
Yeah, yeah. I was raised Buddhist. Like my grandfather built like a Buddhist temple in Hawaii. Like, so I'm really deep into it. But anyone like learning Buddhism, I mean, I think with Buddhism, it's very simple but complex but simple. So I always say like learn the Four Noble Truths and then learn the Eightfold Path and just like start there and see where it takes you and see like there's different types of Buddhism and schools of Buddhism.
Yeah, I've heard because my friend that was in the show, he talked about, I forget the name of it. It's one of the popular ones, one of the...
Mahayana Buddhism?
I think it's over to J maybe. I'm tripping. I might be tripping. It might have been that one. I can't remember. He had the book, but I can't remember. But he's like learning about all that. But that whole like spiritual realm is like it's super cool. I love learning about that. Like Hinduism too is pretty cool.
Yeah, Hinduism's cool.
In Bali, they had like everyone there was basically like Hindu. It was so it was like you see all the different like offerings you see on the floor and everything. So I just like learning about all the different things. You know, it's really cool because. You know, despite all our differences, we're more connected than we think. You know, surprisingly.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, we're all part of the same species. I think we forget about that.
That's what people forget, especially like in the Hollywood vibe. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's me." It's good to you gotta focus on yourself before you help other people. And if you don't have money for rent, you can't give to me.
Yeah.
But there's also a certain point where you kind of just have to be like, all right, I can't get mad. Why am I honking at this person? To speed up, maybe they're, they need help, but also like LA drivers are the worst. Like you can agree. I'm agreeing with you. That's what we're gonna talk about. That like LA drivers. Oh my gosh.
It's because everyone's texting.
Exactly. It's bad. I've seen a lot of accidents. Unfortunately,
it's crazy. I mean, especially around where you live.
I know. Yeah, in Koreatown. I'm like, I don't know how these people who gave them the license.
No,
because,
seriously,
it's insane. But to leave on a positive note, any final words to wrap up? About positivity that you want to share to anybody to manifest, maybe about Buddhism, maybe not, acting, anything like that?
I mean, positivity, I think it really just comes down to like, how do you want to live your life? What do you want your legacy to be? Do you want people to see you as like this negative person and you have negative experiences, or do you want positive ones? I think like not everything in life is a choice, but you can change how you perceive things, and it makes life easier if it's on a positive note. And I think it radiates out too. Like just how negativity radiates out too. Like positivity definitely does.
So it's better to pick the better one. I like that. Yeah. You said it's not a wow, that's awesome. Well, Sam, thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
What's the Instagram again?
My Instagram is Sam Aotaki, SAMAOTAKI.
There we go. Underscore at the end. We're definitely gonna tag you on it. Thanks for spelling at the end because not everybody Japanese too. Arigato gozaimasu. And of course, you got to follow us on TikTok at Patty Show Podcast, PattyShowPodcast. That's also our Instagram. YouTube is the same thing. And our PodBean is a website. It's Patty Show, PattyShow.podbean.com. We're gonna get the Patreon soon. Another P, maybe. I don't know. This is still, free. So show some love when you can. Share it. Bring the positivity. And anything else you want to say?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm just grateful you're here. Thank you for the blessings.
Grateful that you have.
And everybody, we're gonna have a fun time for the next episode. I think we're gonna talk about passion, most likely. But we have to give it to them the arigato, but we're gonna do it in sync. Yeah. Arigato.
Thanks for joining me on this episode of The Patty Show. I hope you had as much fun as I did exploring the crossing point of the 3 Ps: passion, pleasure, and positivity. If you want to keep that Patty party going, you got to follow us on Instagram at Patty Show Podcast. Share this episode and leave a positive review. In the meantime, keep passionately pursuing your personal paradise. Arigato.